Hello, everyone, and welcome to Zipi's Agent Training webinar. Thank you for taking a little time out of your very busy days to join us for this meeting. Now, a few housekeeping items before we get started. I do want to let everyone on the call know that this training will be recorded, and for best quality listening purposes, everyone will remain muted today. Now, with that being said, don't worry. You can still ask me all the questions throughout the entirety of the training by taking advantage of the chat window or the Q&A section of your Zoom application. We are going to be getting to all of those questions at the very end. Now, first things first, I do want to put a face to the voice that's talking at you today. My name is Katie, and I am one of the customer success managers here at Zipi. Now, really, my goal today is to give you a high-level overview of the system, get you excited about this brand new platform to track your success, and take care of all of your back office and accounting needs. Now, today's objectives, kind of what I am going to be guiding you through so you have an idea, is number one, basic navigation. We're going to take you through the absolute basics of basics to make sure you know what to do the second you log in. Now, after that, we're going to give you a big picture idea before we get into number two, the My Business account, and start talking about your financials. After that, we're going to bring everything back into focus and talk about the brokerage account to finish things off today. Now, let's go ahead and get started with that basic navigation. You should have received an email that looks like this, which is your invitation to get started with Zipi. If you haven't received an email like this yet, I would suggest reaching out to your broker or admin, and you should be receiving that email shortly. Now, once you go ahead and you set up that brand new account, you can then go to zipi.app, hit that login button in the top right-hand corner, type in those credentials, and you'll be ready to go. Now, let's go ahead and move into my Zipi demo account. We are using Google Chrome for best quality user experience. And let's go ahead and get started with that basic navigation inside the system. Now, the first thing I do want to point out to you is going to be on the left-hand side of the screen where we see Axe Capital Real Estate. Now, Axe Capital Real Estate is going to be our demo brokerage account today. And right below that, you're going to see My Business. Now, our brokerage account and our My Business account are going to essentially be the broker and the agent account. Your My Business account is strictly for you as an agent to manage your records, your goal tracking, and your deals all in one space. And even better for you as agents, it's for your eyes only. It's your private space to manage your financials, accounting, and stay on track throughout the year. Now, we are going to be talking about both of these today, but for right now, let's continue with our basic navigation tour. And the next thing I want to draw your attention to is going to be the search bar. Now, your search bar is going to be your global search. You can go ahead and search for anything happening inside of your Zipi system by typing in the contact information or the deal information if that's what you're looking for. Now, if you'd like to refine this area, you can do so with this little drop-down menu, giving you the ability to tell the system, I'm only looking for deals or I'm only looking for contacts. Now, following my cursor across the top of the screen over to where it says Rochelle. Now, this is going to be the agent that we have for our demo today. So once you log in for the first time, your name will be right up here. Now, right next to your name, you're going to then see a notifications bell. Now, this notifications bell is going to be telling you anything you need to keep track of inside of Zipi, anything that's affecting you directly. You'll see financial verifications here, deal approvals from your broker or your admin, and you, of course, have the ability to go through and refine this area as needed. We have the drop-down bar for you to filter this area, so it's really suiting your needs. Now, next, I'm going to close out this little notifications area, and we're going to touch on our profile. Now, our profile icon can be found right next door, and of course, your picture can be here if you'd like to upload one, or if you log in with Google. Now your profile is going to have a few different line items here, but I do want to direct your attention to where it says need help. Now, anytime you need to look up an article or a step-by-step guide for a certain feature within the system, you do have the ability to pop out that additional tab and go to our Zipi Help Center. Now, not only is this going to be a community center for you to start discussions, ask questions, and see product announcements, this is also where you can access our knowledge-based articles and find out exactly what you're looking for. Maybe you want to find out how to add a contact. You can start typing that in here and see every single article we have pertaining to that specific part of the system. Now we are going to be talking about this throughout the duration of the training. So for right now, let's go ahead and get right back into Zipi. So now that we have our basic navigation done and over with, we've talked about how to log in, how to navigate between our brokerage account and our personal agent account called the My Business account. We know how to find our notifications and we know how to get help. So now let's talk about the big picture of Zipi. As agents and brokers, what it comes down to is who we're working with, who is in our pipeline, and how much are we going to make this year. Now, of course, as agents and brokers, we are working with new clients on a regular basis, and those new clients may not always be in contract. Now, right here, you're seeing an insights board. This is going to be keeping track of your production, everything happening for you inside of your brokerage, so you can see at a glance what you have going on. Now for your pipeline, and for those clients you're in contract or not in contract with, you're going to go ahead and navigate to your deals on the left-hand side of the screen. Now your deals within Zipi is where you're going to be inputting all of your new deal information, whether you have that contract or not. You can go ahead and create a brand new deal within Zipi, whether that's a listing or a transaction, by simply creating one right here. Now, if you're maybe just adding in some additional contacts for a future deal, you have the ability to, on the right-hand side of the screen, press this plus navigation, create a new deal, or simply a contact. Now, this deals area is going to fill up and start giving you all of the data that you need to keep track of your pipeline. Now, for those of you who are using SkySlope or Dotloop today, can I get a raise of hands in your webinar screen? Now, I'm assuming most of you use SkySlope or Dotloop, so I am going to go into a brief description on how you are going to integrate your two accounts. All right, it looks like we have the majority of the people on the call using one or the other, so let's do a quick demo. Now, if you're someone who is using SkySlope or Dotloop, you are starting those listings and transactions or those loops in a whole separate system. You may be starting to think, as you're looking at these deals, that you have some double data entry to do, but don't worry, we have a bi-directional flow of data in our integration to make it super easy for you to pull in those deals from your transaction management system. Now, for those SkySlope and Dotloop users, we are going to be navigating back to our profile, and we're going to be now going to apps. Apps is going to give us the ability to connect to our Dotloop or our SkySlope account to pull in those deals in our deals section. Now for Dotloop, you're simply going to be typing in your credentials, and for SkySlope, you're going to be typing in your access key. Now this is going to create a seamless sync for the two transaction management systems and your now financial management system to all be in one space. Now, don't forget, we're still in our brokerage account right now. We're tracking our production. We're tracking our deals. That way we can start forecasting our commission, following our leads, and really seeing our value. Now, for those of you who do not use Dotloop or SkySlope, I do want to go right back over to deals and show you how easy it is to create a brand new deal. Now, like you saw me before, you have two spots to go ahead and create new deals. You can press create in blue right here, or you have the plus navigation to go ahead and create a brand new deal. Now, anytime you're going through and creating a new deal inside of Zipi, make sure you're entering in all of the information you possibly can and to the best accuracy. Now, of course, right here, you're going to start typing in your address. Google is going to assist you on that address and bring in everything we possibly can. And then, of course, you're going to be filling this out as it pertains to your client, whether you're in contract or not. Now, the more data that we have in the system and the more leads we have in the system, the more deals we have in the system, the better you're going to be able to forecast what you're actually making. So now that we have kind of a big picture idea of having our deals in the system and be able to see our insights in our brokerage account, let's go ahead and dive into our personal My Business account and talk about a little bit more of the nitty-gritty details. Now, going to the left-hand side of the screen, we can navigate right down here from our Axe Capital brokerage account into My Business account, which is the agent account. So now that we are in the My Business account, we can see that this area is a little bit more robust for us. Our brokerage account is kind of our production at a glance, and our My Business account is for us to really talk about our sales, our purchases, our banking, our financials, and keeping everything organized. Now, the first thing I want to direct your attention to is company settings. Now, towards the bottom of the left-hand navigation bar, we have a company area, and we're going to go ahead and pop into settings. Now, once you're in the settings section, you're going to see a few cards here, and you can really think of this area as kind of like your virtual business card. This is where you can go ahead and create that digital contact information within Zipi, so everything is always up to date. Now, you can go ahead and change this from being called your My Business account to maybe just your first and last name. However, if you're someone who is a LLC, an S Corp, or a C Corp, you want to go ahead and match up that company name with whatever your company name is. That way, your invoices match your company perfectly for tax season. Now again, this is kind of like your digital contact info or your digital business card within Zipi. So you can always go through and add in your default disbursement information, your billing address, or maybe even additional locations if necessary. Now, we really pride ourselves at Zipi as giving you as many options for customization as possible. So if you'd like your information in here, just know company and then settings. All right, so let's start talking about the fun stuff here. Let's get into finances. Now, the whole point of having a private My Business account is so that you can really keep track of your dollars. You need dollars coming in and dollars coming out. So let's go ahead and move one up from settings into finance. Now, as you can see, anytime you hover over something, it's always going to give you the additional options for what lives inside of that section, or you can access that through this drop-down as well. Now, what I want to draw your attention to next is chart of accounts. Now, chart of accounts is going to be helping you organize every single cent coming in and out of your pocket. You can see that we have all the basics set up here for you. However, consulting your CPA or your bookkeeper is always a best practice to make sure you use this area to the fullest. Now, you do have the ability to add to this list. So we've got some basics here. We have your tracking transfers, your accounts receivable. We have any historical adjustments, even your accounts payable. But maybe you want to go through and keep track of everything you've spent for marketing. You can go ahead and create a brand new chart of accounts. We're going to go ahead and create a brand new account type. And maybe we want to go ahead and make this marketing. Now I can connect it to a specific ledger. I can go ahead and make it accessible for specific people. And the whole point of this is for me to track anything and everything connected to marketing so that later my CPA sees everything that they need to see. Now, moving along, I next want to talk about services and products. So if I use this little drop-down menu, the next thing I want to draw your attention to is right above services and products. Now, chart of accounts and services and products truly go hand in hand. Chart of accounts is essentially your big picture for financial reporting, and services and products is every individual line item that falls into those larger categories. So for example, inside of our services and products, We maybe are going to have business cards, signage. Those are all things that are going to contribute to our overarching chart of accounts marketing account. So really what we're doing is keeping track of our production, and we're staying organized for our financial reporting. So let's go back to that example of having an item that we need to have tracked in products and services. So of course, we can go ahead and create an item, whether that's something that is an expense or something that's an income. Now, all of these items are then going to be tied back to a specific account within our chart of accounts. So for example, if I wanted to go ahead and create a brand new product and service, something that I'm offering or something I'm being charged for, I can type that in right here. I can say how much it's going to cost me or cost another person, and decide which account it's going to either come out of or be deposited into. Now, you're always more than welcome to go through and add a product description, and then of course you can go ahead and create that service or product. Now again, this is all going to tie into your bigger picture of ending up in your chart of accounts, which at the end of the year is going to be your key to seeing all of your financials. Now, as you saw when I created that brand new business card service, we did see that I selected Zipi Pay. Now let's go ahead and talk about Zipi Pay, because this is really going to be your gold inside of Zipi. Zipi Pay is going to be your seamless electronic funds conduit built right into the platform. Now, in order to activate that Zipi Pay, we are going to go to the left-hand side navigation and press Marketplace. Within Marketplace, you are instantly going to see Zipi Pay and have the option to go ahead and go into Settings. Now, once you go into Settings, you're then going to set up a brand new Zipi Pay account. Now, this is going to allow you to have your funds, receive commission, pay your invoices, anything that you need, all right here inside of Zipi. Now, one thing we do recommend as a best practice is leaving your gateway title as Zipi Pay, so that way all of your accounts are nice and separated by what they actually are. Now, one thing I do want to go over with you while picking your business type inside of Zipi Pay, this is where you're going to be asking yourself, am I just an individual or an LLC? So you want to make sure you're matching whatever your legal business name is versus your legal name right here inside of Zipi Pay, so everything aligns at the end of the year. Now, if you need a step-by-step guide for setting up Zipi Pay, you can find that in our knowledge base, or of course, reach out to anybody on our team. All right, everyone, so now let's move through to banking. We just talked about Zipi Pay, which is kind of like your internal Venmo or Apple Pay or Google Pay, but for real estate. Now, we always want your Zipi Pay to be connected to a bank account, a source of funds, and Zipi Pay is going to be for your monies coming in and out, sent or received. Now, moving up to our banking module, if you follow me on the left-hand side of the screen, this is where you're going to link your actual bank accounts. All right, so banking module here, we are going to link up our accounts so we can go ahead and create our transaction list. We want to go through and see everything we have processed, so that way we can actually reconcile what's happening in our bank account versus what we have inside of Zipi. We're activating that banking feed, pulling in those transactions, and reconciling and categorizing them into our chart of accounts for later. Now, of course, anytime you want to add a new bank account, trust account, savings account, you're going to do so by pressing Add Account. Now, of course, you can select whichever one is relevant to you. Once you hit Continue, you can go ahead and find your bank, and you're then going to type in your credentials for your online banking. Now, you can do this as many times as you need to for a savings account, trust account, checking account, so you have all of your data and all of your feeds in one space. All right, so now that we are going to have our banking set up, we have our Zipi Pay set up for how we are sending and receiving funds. Let's go ahead and move on over into sales, which is just 2 up from our banking module on the left-hand side. Now, the first thing I do want to talk about in this sales area is your invoices. So earlier, we were talking about services and products. Maybe we need to charge someone for ordering business cards, or maybe someone needs to charge us. The way we're going to send out invoices is right here through sales and clicking invoices. Now you can see here you have two options for invoices, either a single invoice or creating a reoccurring invoice. For today, we're going to go right into invoices as an example. Now, anytime you would like to send an invoice for a service you have rendered, you can create that invoice for said outside service right here. Whether that's a consulting fee, a client fee, or maybe you're doing something that includes mentorship. You can create that brand new invoice. You can add the person or the company from your contacts. And then of course, you're going to add the salesperson, which is who it's coming from, and when it's due. Now this is where your product and services are going to come in. Now maybe you're charging someone for business cards. I'm going to go ahead and select what we created earlier, and it's going to go ahead and bring in that rate that I already entered. I previously selected Zipi Pay, which is how I want that person to deposit the funds, and I can go ahead and create that invoice. Now, I do have the ability to apply any credits I have in my account. So if I maybe overpaid a bill, that money is going to stay in your account and be applied wherever you see fit. Now, once you hit create, of course, you have the ability to create the invoice and not send it, or you can create and send the invoice right away. Now, of course, your invoicing is how you're going to be requesting money from other people, but now let's talk about how people are going to be requesting money from you. Now, that's going to be happening in your purchases. So following me to the left-hand side of the screen, we have purchases and we have bills. Now, purchases are bills, aka expenses, money going out of our pockets. Now remember, we are in the My Business account. This is for your eyes only, so no other agent is going to see anything that you're being charged for. So if your broker sends you an invoice, your bills are going to show up right here inside of your account. These are your records and they will be private to you. Now, opening up a bill that I have for my brokerage here, we're going to have a few different options for how we want to pay the bill. Now, we always want to record those payment methods. So for our rendering later, we know exactly what happened. So if we scroll down to the very bottom of this bill, we've got some payment options. Now within payment options, you'll see that we have lots of different ways to pay our bills, or if we already paid it, maybe before we got Zipi, we do have the option to go ahead and simply just record the payment. If I want to go ahead and pay my broker using my Zipi Pay account, that's my first option. If I want to pay with a credit card and I have everything set up in authorized.net, I can do that too. I can pay via check. I can also pay via a vendor bank account, or I can simply just record the payment if I already paid my broker. All right, everyone, so now we know how to invoice people. We know how to go through and pay our bills. So now let's go ahead and start wrapping up our tour of the My Business portal with talking about contacts. Now within contacts, this is going to be your area to add in whoever you see fit. However, what I do want to touch on within contacts is the ability to save payment information. So again, on the left-hand side of the screen at the very top, we selected contacts. We have all of our contacts inside of My Business account right here. And for example, if we want to go into our broker's contact information, we do have the ability to select a specific way to pay our broker. So clicking on Axe Capital Real Estate, we can see in the navigation, we have the ability to select payment methods. So if I always want to pay my broker with one specific credit card, I can go ahead and add in that credit card right here. Maybe I have outside sources that I pay for additional services or people I pay for social media marketing. I can save my best method of payment right into their contact info so I am in ultimate control. Now, this is a lot safer than having physically written down your credit card info for someone, maybe on a piece of paper and handing it to your broker. This card number will stay proprietary to the system and it's unable to be seen by anybody but you. Now, anything for my brokerage that gets this credit card and anything for maybe team leads that gets another credit card, you have the power to decide and change as needed, okay? All right, so last but not least inside of the My Business account, I want to touch on reports. Now, if you follow my mouse to the left-hand side of the screen again, we are now going to go into reports. Now, reports is going to be your area for financial reporting. You can create and customize this area to suit your needs. All of the dates in this area are going to be dynamic and forever running based on the dates you're inputting. Things will update continuously for you, and of course, you'll have the ability to see all of your financial breakdowns from your chart of accounts, edit the criteria, and customize as much as possible. Now, keep in mind, everyone, when you log in for the first time, your account is going to be empty. You won't have any data to run reports on until you pull in some deals. Once you pull in deals, you're going to want to get organized with all of your financials so you can start running these reports and seeing where you're at for the year. All right, everyone, so now that we have gone through everything you need to know to get started in your My Business account, let's go ahead and finish things up by talking about the brokerage account. Now, just to quickly recap, we have all of our contacts first and foremost. This is where we can add in additional payment methods for specific contacts, whether they are inside or outside the brokerage. Now, sales is going to be where we invoice people. Purchases is going to be any money going out of our pockets, bills that maybe our brokerage is charging us with. Banking is where we can go ahead and set up our bank feed, seeing exactly an itemized list of every single cent going out of our bank accounts, seeing those reports of exactly where we're at for the year financially, and setting up any additional company settings right down here at the bottom. Now, of course, we are now going to navigate right back into the brokerage account, which is not quite as robust as this account we're looking at now. So popping back into Axe Capital Real Estate, you can see we don't have quite so many options in the navigation bar. But what I want to do is give you another quick overview of the difference between your brokerage account and your agent account. The brokerage account obviously is a high-level production area showing you where you're at. You have the ability to create insight widgets here, track where you're at year to date, month to date, and so on. Now let's go ahead and look at one of these insights. Now, once we're bringing in all of our deals, which as we saw earlier is happening right here inside of deals, we're going to have some data inside of the system. Now, what we can do is press this little edit tool on the right-hand side of the screen, and we can make any type of widget that we want by simply selecting Add Widget. Now, maybe you want to see all of your production year to date. What we can do is select that widget type, production, and we're going to go ahead and add that in. Now we have the ability to go through and edit our widgets and make them as granular as you want. So of course, we're going to type this in as year-to-date production, and we're going to go through and add in the period. Do I want to know the production for the week, the month, the quarter? Of course, for this one, we want the entire year. Now, do I want year-to-date production for just my deals that are closed, or do I want to see everything in my pipeline? So I think for this one, I'm going to do active, pending, and closed, and even processed, which means I got paid. Now for deal type, it's going to be asking you, do you only want to see year-to-date for listings or for also the buyer side? For this one, I'm just going to say listings. Now I can even add in a unit goal. Maybe my goal is to work with 25 listing clients. I'm going to go ahead and put a volume goal of something similar and hit save. Now, of course, since this is my demo account, we don't have too much information in the system, but you can see how this is going to be going through and giving you your little calculations to keep you on track with your goals. Now we're going to pop right down into deals one more time just to give you a recap of what this area is doing for you. Now don't forget that this is where you're tracking your deals, whether or not these people are in contract with you or not. So depending on your workflow, this could be either your first step or it could be your second or third step after SkySlope and dotloop. Now, depending on your admin, your compliance officer, and who is entering in these deals, you're going to enter in all of the information for that deal and making sure that the system is recognizing it as a listing or transaction. Now, of course, always a best practice is even if you're not under contract, you can still enter in the deal information. This is an excellent way for you to project truly how much your production is going to look like in one area. It's going to be your pipeline. You can edit these deals as necessary and add in the pertinent information once you are actually under contract. All right, now we already covered how to link our SkySlope and our dotloop integration, but don't forget if you need to, you're simply going to access SkySlope and dotloop integrations through your profile section and going to apps. Now, if you need a detailed step-by-step guide on how to sync your SkySlope and dotloop, don't forget you can always access help and read our knowledge base articles by pressing need help. All right, everyone, so that is going to be our entire training today, kind of a high-level overview of everything you need to know to get started for the very first time. Now, let's go ahead and do a little bit of a recap because I know that was a lot of information. All right. Now, just to recap what we have talked about today, keep in mind that Zipi is very robust and fully customizable to you and your needs. You have access to your production via your brokerage account, and your comprehensive accounting data is going to be in your private My Business space. Now you're going to start forecasting all of your deals by entering them in as they are emerging into your pipeline, staying up to date and bringing in deals from SkySlope, dotloop, or entering them directly into Zipi. We're really managing our money and using Zipi Pay as well as our chart of accounts to make sure we're keeping track of where every single cent is going. Now, this is a robust system, but it's really waiting for you to take ownership of your own business and never miss a beat with where your money is landing. Now, last but not least, of course, I do want to remind you where to access your help. So anytime you need additional tutorials or step-by-step guides, don't forget, click your profile and go to Need Help. You will then be launching our Zipi Community Center where you can stay up to date with launches, access our knowledge base, and any informational articles that you may need. All right, everyone, so thank you so much for attending training with me today with our Zipi team. We're super excited to partner with you, and please reach out to us if you have any questions. Now, for those of you who have submitted questions in the Q&A section and the chat window, we are going to be getting to those now. I'm going to give everyone about a minute or two to continue submitting, and then we will go ahead and start answering.